You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Imagine this. You're standing in front of a mirror. You're speaking your goals out loud. Wealth, love, freedom. Your words are crisp. Your voice is confident. But what if that mirror doesn't hear your words? What if it only reflects your energy? Now imagine you're saying, I am abundant, but behind your eyes is the silent frequency of, I am not enough. The universe is that mirror. It doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to what you vibrate. So here's the truth. Your words might be dressed for the future, but your energy could still be haunted by your past. And that, right there, is why so many people feel like they're doing everything right, and still nothing changes. This isn't about doing more. It's about understanding where you're doing it from. Let's start there. Part 1. The illusion of positive thinking. You were told to dream it, feel it, believe it. Let's rewind to the beginning. The moment you first discovered the law of attraction, it felt like magic, a beautiful invitation to co-create your life, to finally step into a reality where your thoughts had power, where your beliefs became blueprints, where your desires could shape the world around you. It was intoxicating. For the first time, someone wasn't telling you to settle. They were telling you that you could manifest. And so you started. You wrote down your goals. You made mood boards on Pinterest and stuck affirmations to your bathroom mirror. You repeated things like, I am wealthy, I am love, I am magnetic. You woke up early to meditate. You listened to motivational audios on the way to work. You smiled even when you were tired because the secret was to feel good, right? If your thoughts become things, then surely the key was to think better thoughts, right? The glow, then the ghost. At first it worked, at least it seemed to. You felt lighter. You felt more hopeful. Maybe small things started to shift. But as time went on, something strange happened. The glow started to fade. You kept doing the work, more vision boards, more affirmations, longer meditations. But the big things, the breakthroughs, the financial freedom, the dream relationship, they didn't show up. And slowly, doubt began to slip in through the back door of your mind. Why is this taking so long? What am I missing? Is it me? This is the part no one talks about. The part where your inner world becomes a battleground between hope and confusion, between faith and frustration. The Instagram version versus the real work. The truth is, most of what we've been taught about manifestation has been filtered through the lens of social media. It's the highlight reel of spiritual practice. Quick quotes, 10-second reels, aesthetically pleasing sound baths, but rarely does it show the full picture. Because here's what no one told you. You were given the starter kit, not the user manual. You were handed the ingredients, but not the oven. And so you're left mixing hope with effort, waiting for something to rise. But the cake isn't baking, because the temperature is off, because the core isn't aligned. Thinking positive can be a mask. You tried to stay high vibe. You tried to stay grateful. You tried to fake it till you made it. But faking it doesn't work when the energy underneath is anxious, afraid, or exhausted. Saying I'm okay doesn't cancel out the frequency of I'm scared. The universe doesn't operate like a search engine. You don't type in your desires and hit enter. It operates like a radio. You don't get what you search for. You get what you tune into. So if your words are vibrating at one frequency, but your inner being is vibrating at another, what do you think the universe picks up? The subtle sabotage of surface-level spirituality. Here's the thing about affirmations and visualization. They're powerful tools, but only if your body believes them, only if your subconscious accepts them. Otherwise, they become hollow mantras, words you say with your mouth, but not with your nervous system. I am wealthy, but your gut tightens when you look at your bank balance. I am love, but you flinch when someone tries to get close. I am free, but your calendar is crammed with commitments that drain your soul. This disconnect creates energetic noise, and the universe is always listening, not to the noise of your mouth, but to the symphony of your being. The first lie. More effort shirks more results. When things don't work, we often assume we just need to try harder. More affirmations, more scripting, more manifestation journals. But manifestation doesn't operate like hard labor. You don't get more by grinding more. Because what's the energy behind trying? Trying implies I don't have it yet. Trying broadcasts lack. And the law of attraction is a mirror. It reflects your frequency, not your fantasies. The missing piece? Being, not thinking. Here's where the shift begins. The law of attraction doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. And you are not your thoughts. You are your state, your beliefs, your nervous system, your emotional imprint, your body's cellular memory. This is where manifestation truly begins, beneath the surface, in the places most people avoid. Because it's easy to repeat an affirmation. It's harder to sit with a buried belief that says, I'm not worthy. But until that deeper energy is transformed, the outer world won't shift. When silence feels like rejection, let's talk about that dreaded phase, the silence. The moment when you've been doing everything right, and still, nothing happens. No signs, no breakthroughs. Just stillness. It's in this stillness that many give up. They assume the universe isn't listening. They assume they're doing something wrong. But here's a perspective shift. That silence isn't rejection. It's diagnosis. It's the universe waiting for your energy to match your intention. It's the space between the old vibration dying and the new one being born. It's not the end. It's the recalibration. What you really needed. All along, you didn't need more motivation. You needed alignment. Not the surface kind, the cellular kind. The kind of alignment where your heart, mind, and body all speak the same language. Where your desire and your belief are not in conflict. Where I want this is not met with, but I can't have it. That's when things begin to move. That's when the field starts responding. That's when manifestation becomes inevitable. Because you've stopped chasing and started resonating. So where do you go from here? You let go of the illusion. You stop decorating your thoughts while ignoring your energy. You stop reciting scripts and start listening to what your body's actually saying. This isn't about giving up. This is about going deeper. The journey you're on is not broken. You just reach the part where the magic gets real. It's no longer about appearing high vibe. It's about becoming energetically whole. And from that wholeness, from that calm, resonant frequency, from that embodied truth, you'll stop trying to force the universe to notice you. Because suddenly you'll realize you've been the magnet all along. You were never meant to chase. You were meant to align. And alignment starts here. Part 2, why it's not working and never could. The universe doesn't respond to your desires. It responds to your alignment. You've probably asked the question more times than you can count. Why isn't it working? You said the words. You felt the feelings. You imagined the outcome. You did everything they told you to do. So why, honestly, why does it still feel like you're spinning your wheels in the same spot? Why does it feel like the universe is ignoring your order? Or worse, delivering everyone else's except yours? You look around and see others manifesting new homes, new relationships, new lives, while you sit there wondering if you missed a step in the manual. But here's the thing most people won't tell you, because most people don't know it themselves. It was never supposed to work the way you were taught. Surface manifestation is like tapping on the glass. Let's use a metaphor. Imagine you're tapping on the glass of a locked door. You're outside. You can see what you want inside. The dream career, the fulfilling relationship, the money, the inner peace, the self-expression. It's all right there on the other side. And you're doing everything you were told to do, tapping harder, saying the right things, pretending the door's already open, closing your eyes and visualizing walking through. But here's what no one mentioned. That door doesn't respond to noise. It responds to frequency. And right now, your frequency, your actual energetic signal, is still mismatched. So it's not about how hard you're trying. It's about the signal you're sending. Manifestation is not mental. It's multidimensional. Most teachings about the law of attraction are mental. They focus on the conscious mind. Think this, say this, imagine that. But the universe doesn't tune into your conscious mind alone. It listens to your entire field. Your nervous system, your emotional patterns, your subconscious programming, your unspoken fears, your core beliefs. You can scream, "I am abundant," at the top of your lungs. But if your emotional body is still vibrating with scarcity, what do you think the universe is actually responding to? That's right, the emotion, not the words. Alignment is the gateway, not effort. Let's redefine a key concept: alignment. Most people think alignment means feeling good, smiling, visualizing, acting as if. But true alignment is far more honest. It means that your entire system, thoughts, emotions, and physical responses, are all congruent with what you say you want. Alignment doesn't mean pretending you're rich when you're broke. It means shifting the underlying belief that says you have to stay broke. It means addressing the programming in your body that equates having more with danger, or guilt, or unworthiness. Because that programming, it's what's running the show. Your body remembers what your mind forgot. Here's a powerful truth. Your body is a storyteller, and it remembers everything. Every time you felt unsafe, rejected, overlooked, or unloved, your nervous system encoded it. Every time you tried and failed, every time you were shamed for wanting more, every time you believed love came with pain, your body wrote that into its frequency. So now, even when you try to manifest something new, your system says, "No, that's not safe. That's not familiar." This is why people sabotage their own desires, why they attract the same kind of toxic relationship again and again, why money flows in and immediately flows out, why happiness feels threatening, like the prelude to disaster. Your body is not resisting your dreams because you're lazy. It's resisting because your energy still believes survival depends on staying in the familiar. And if the familiar is pain, that's what your system will unconsciously seek to recreate. The law is always on, but so are you. One of the most misunderstood aspects of the law of attraction is this: it's not something you turn on when you journal. It's not something you activate when you sit on a yoga mat. It's always on, like gravity, like oxygen. It's responding every second to your baseline vibration, not your wish list. This means that even if you consciously want something, if your baseline is insecurity, fear, or unworthiness, that's what's being broadcast. And the law is listening, always, precisely, faithfully, not to your dreams, to your state. Why wanting can be a warning signal. Let's unpack another hidden paradox. Wanting too hard often pushes what you desire further away. Why? Because wanting implies lack. It signals a gap, and that gap is emotionally charged. When you want something with desperation, you're not actually aligning with it. You're grieving its absence. You're worshiping the distance. You're saying, like, "I want this so badly because I don't have it. I feel empty without it." And guess what vibration that creates? More lack, more waiting, more grasping. The field doesn't respond to desire. It responds to coherence. Coherence is the new currency. So what is coherence? It's the energetic harmony between who you are and what you're attracting. It means that when you say, "I am love," your energy says the same. When you say, "I am wealthy," your subconscious doesn't flinch. It means there is no static in the transmission, no buried buts in your broadcast. "I am confident, but I was always told to stay small." "I want success, but I don't want people to envy me." "I want freedom, but I don't want to lose the people I love." These unspoken conditions create interference, and interference blocks the flow. Coherence is clean, it's clear, it's magnetic. It doesn't strive, it invites. You're not broken, you're broadcasting old code. Here's where compassion meets transformation. You are not broken, you're not failing, you're not manifesting wrong. You're simply operating from outdated energetic blueprints. And those blueprints were built long before you ever heard the word manifestation. They came from childhood, from trauma, from inherited beliefs, from generations of scarcity, silence, and self-sacrifice. These codes were installed when you didn't even know how to speak. But now, they're running your frequency. And the only way to change your outer reality is to go within and rewire the inner script. The signal beneath the signal. Let's go deeper. You might be saying, "I want love." But if the signal beneath that is, "I don't want to be abandoned again," you won't attract love. You'll attract another abandonment lesson. Not because you deserve pain, but because the universe is responding to the unspoken message. You might say, I want success. But if the vibration is, I'm terrified of being seen, then the success you attract will collapse under the weight of that fear. The universe reflects your truth, not your script, not your mood board, not your wish list, the truth that lives in your bones. So what now? You stop chasing outcomes. You start becoming resonance. You stop trying to fix yourself. You start hearing yourself. You begin asking, what am I actually broadcasting? What fear am I still holding? What belief do I still carry from someone else's story? And most importantly, you start releasing, gently, gradually, truthfully. You learn how to come back into coherence with your higher self, not by becoming someone new, but by releasing who you were never meant to be, the people pleaser, the overachiever, the silent sufferer, the I'll be okay if I just do more version of you. That's the version the old world trained, but you're here now. You're ready to step into the frequency of truth. The door was never locked. Let's go back to the metaphor. You were never tapping on a locked door. The door wasn't locked, it was coded. Coded to your frequency, waiting for resonance, waiting for the real you. And the key was never effort. It was never perfection. It was energy. The moment your energy shifts, the field responds. Not because you forced it, but because you matched it. That's when manifestation becomes real. Not through pressure, but through precision. Part 3, the frequency you're actually broadcasting. You're not broken. Your signal is just mismatched. There's a moment in every transformation journey that hits harder than expected. It's not when you start, not when you set the intention, not even when the results delay. It's the moment you realize something sobering, that despite your best efforts, most of what you've been broadcasting to the universe has been out of alignment with what you truly desire. This isn't because you're not smart enough. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because the universe is withholding from you. It's because your energy is still speaking in a language your desires don't understand. What you think you're broadcasting versus what you actually are. You see, we all carry two signals, the one we speak out loud and the one that hums beneath the surface, silent, steady, and far more powerful. The first one is easy to curate. It's your affirmations, your Instagram captions, your conscious intentions. But the second one, that's where the real story lives. It's in your body language, your emotional default state, the subtle flinches when someone offers love, the unease you feel when money comes too easily, the quiet resistance that shows up right when you're close to receiving more. That deeper signal, that's your frequency. And that frequency is what the universe listens to. Your frequency is not a thought, it's a state. Let's get this clear once and for all. Frequency is not about what you say, it's about what you are. You don't have to believe in energy for it to affect you. Just like you don't have to understand radio waves to know when a song is playing. Your frequency is a fusion of your thoughts, emotions, nervous system, and subconscious patterns, all vibrating together in a unique broadcast that never shuts off. And this broadcast is constantly being picked up by the field of creation around you. So if the outer world isn't reflecting the life you want, you're not being punished. You're being mirrored. You're receiving data, precise, unbiased, energetic feedback. Why saying I want more can backfire? Most people focus on the desire. They repeat, I want abundance. I want love. I want freedom. But the act of wanting over and over again implies distance, lack, absence. Energetically, it says, it's not here yet. I'm not it yet. And so the universe, a precise vibrational mirror, reflects that truth back. Not because it's cruel, but because it's exact. It responds not to your wishes, but to the vibrational reality underneath them. The old self is still broadcasting. Here's the hidden trap. You're trying to manifest from a new version of you, while still carrying the energy of an old one. An old self that's afraid of rejection. That equates visibility with danger. That believes too much success will lead to abandonment. That was taught, maybe unconsciously, to settle. This old self isn't malicious, it's protective, it's familiar, it's been keeping you safe for years, but now it's interfering with your broadcast. Because while your conscious mind is projecting possibility, your energetic field is still whispering, stay small, stay safe. Think of your energy like a radio tower. Let's get visual. Imagine your body as a radio tower, and your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs as the signal it's transmitting. Now you might say, I am ready for a new life. But your signal is still echoing. I'm not safe if I change. If I grow too fast, I'll lose everything. If I have more, I might be judged. The music doesn't match the message. And the universe, it responds to the music. You can speak all the abundance you want, but if your frequency is still stuck in scarcity, that's what plays out in your reality. Emotional residue shapes your broadcast. Every emotional wound leaves a residue, and over time, that residue becomes your energetic signature. Think of it like background music in a film. You may not always notice it, but it sets the tone of every scene. Your energetic background music might sound like, I'm not enough. Love isn't safe. I have to earn everything. If I relax, I'll lose control. And so, even when your words are hopeful, your background music keeps pulling your frequency back into old loops. This is why the same patterns show up in new jobs, new relationships, new environments. Different scenery, same signal. Your nervous system has a vote. Here's something rarely acknowledged in manifestation circles. Your nervous system must feel safe in your desired reality. If it doesn't, it will reject it, no matter how beautiful your affirmations are. You might consciously crave wealth, but if your body equates wealth with pressure, judgment, or betrayal, it will quietly push it away. You might want love, but if your nervous system has learned that love equals abandonment, it will feel uneasy the closer intimacy gets. This isn't self-sabotage. This is biology. This is protection. And the only way to shift it is to create safety in the energy of what you want. You can't attract what you secretly fear. Fear is one of the strongest frequencies in the field, and it's incredibly honest. You can dress it up with confidence. You can bury it under positivity. But if it's in your field, it's in your broadcast. And the universe responds. This is why we say, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Because who you are, energetically, is a sum total of your beliefs, memories, and emotional imprints. Until you become aware of those, you'll keep broadcasting the past and calling it the present. Let's bring this home. Real questions for real alignment. So how do you start shifting the signal? You begin with radical honesty, not judgment, not shame, just honesty. Ask yourself, what am I actually vibrating right now? Am I in trust or in control? Am I in expansion or in fear? Am I aligned with receiving or still bracing for disappointment? These questions bypass the ego. They go straight to the frequency, and frequency never lies. Once you know what you're really broadcasting, you can start to shift, not by force, but by presence. The magic of gentle observation. The energy you're broadcasting doesn't change by pushing, it changes by noticing. When you become the observer of your own signal, you take back power. You stop reacting. You start realigning. You realize, I'm in fear right now. That's okay. Let me feel it. I'm broadcasting lack. I see it. I accept it. I can choose again. My old self just got triggered. That's data, not failure. This is the work. This is the path to clean, coherent frequency, not perfection, presence. The frequency shift happens in layers. Let's be real, you won't flip a switch and suddenly broadcast abundance 24/7. You're human. You have layers, and each layer is an opportunity. Today, you might release one belief. Tomorrow, you'll meet a new pattern. Next week, a deeper wound might surface. That's not regression, that's refinement. Each shift in frequency opens up more flow, and eventually you begin to notice the same patterns no longer stick. The triggers become teachers. The gaps between desire and reception start to close. Because the more coherent your signal, the faster the field responds. And that's the real secret. You don't need to manifest harder. You need to transmit cleaner. You don't need to fight for what's yours. You need to align with what's already waiting. The universe isn't testing you, it's mirroring you. And your job is not to figure it all out. It's to tune your being until your reality has no choice but to respond. Because when your signal changes, everything changes. Not by force, not by chance, but by resonance. Part 4. Awareness greater than affirmations. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your signal. We live in a world obsessed with words. The right quote can go viral. The right mantra can become a movement. The right affirmation, it's sold as the golden key to a better life. And for a while you believed it. Because why wouldn't you? Affirmations are beautiful. They're clean, powerful, and promise to rewire your mindset. You stood in front of mirrors. You declared, I am enough, I am abundant, I am magnetic, I am free. And you wanted so badly to believe it. But something inside you didn't buy it. Something deep beneath your voice was whispering, no, I'm not. And that something, that's what the universe heard. The great misunderstanding. Let's start with a truth most spiritual influencers won't say out loud. Affirmations alone don't manifest. Not because they're useless, not because you're doing them wrong, but because affirmations work like perfume. They can't cover up what's already been deeply soaked into your skin. You don't change your life by speaking different words. You change it by seeing what's behind the words. That's where awareness comes in. Because the universe, it's not listening to what you say, it's listening to what you mean. The subconscious interpreter. Let's break it down. Every affirmation you say has to pass through a gatekeeper, your subconscious mind. This gatekeeper is precise, skeptical, and deeply protective. It doesn't listen to wishful thinking. It listens to evidence. So when you say, I am abundant, but your subconscious is still holding the emotional memory of scarcity, it doesn't believe you. Not because it's against you, but because it's loyal to your past. It's wired to keep you consistent with the emotional identity you've lived in for years, sometimes decades. You can't lie to it. You can only reveal to it. And the only way to reveal is through awareness. What is awareness, really? Awareness is not the same as overthinking. It's not judgment. It's not obsession with your flaws. Awareness is the gentle ability to observe yourself without flinching. It's the courage to look at what you're actually feeling beneath the surface. To say, I'm saying I want this, but do I believe it's safe? I'm repeating this affirmation, but am I feeling resistance in my body? I'm asking for more, but am I secretly bracing for disappointment? Awareness doesn't need drama. It only needs truth. It's the bridge between who you think you are and what you're actually broadcasting. Affirmations without awareness. Our cosmetic affirmations can be like a coat of paint. Nice on the outside, clean, inspiring. But if the foundation underneath is cracked, guess what happens? The cracks eventually show through. That's what happens when people repeat mantras without first addressing what's going on energetically. You say, I love myself, but deep down you're still carrying childhood wounds where you felt unworthy of love. You say, I am limitless, but you flinch when asked to share your truth because you were once mocked for speaking up. You say, I trust the universe, but your body still tenses every time money comes in, afraid it will disappear. This isn't hypocrisy, it's human, and more importantly, it's a signal. It's the gap between language and frequency. Awareness is what closes the gap. When you become aware of what you're really feeling, you stop trying to force change and start creating space for real transformation. Because here's the secret, you don't have to believe the affirmation right away. You only have to be aware of the resistance it brings up. That resistance, that's your portal. That's where the magic lives. Most people try to push through it, but the ones who break through, they lean into it. They say, I notice the fear behind this affirmation. Let me sit with it. I feel the contraction in my chest when I say I'm worthy. Let me listen. I want to believe I'm powerful, but I feel grief underneath. Let me feel that first. And just like that, the signal begins to shift. The nervous system doesn't lie. Let's talk about the body, because awareness isn't just mental, it's physical. Your nervous system is always giving you clues. Tightness in your stomach when you say I am free. A lump in your throat when you say, I am loved. A restless feeling when you repeat, I am safe. That's your body saying, I hear you, but I'm still holding on to a different story. This is where most people either give up or suppress. But you now have a different option. You can pause, breathe, and say, I hear the old story, but I no longer have to believe it. I see you, fear. I feel you, shame. And I'm not running from you. That's what awareness sounds like. Not denial, not rejection, but compassionate recognition. Every affirmation is a compass. Here's the reframe that changes everything. Your affirmations are not commands. They're compasses. They're not magic spells that force the universe to obey. They're invitations to discover where your energy is out of sync. Saying I am abundant doesn't make you rich, but it will show you exactly where you feel poor, emotionally, energetically, relationally. Saying I am enough won't dissolve insecurity in a day, but it will guide you to the very root of the wound that whispers, I'm not. And in that awareness, you unlock access to the one thing affirmations can't fake: authentic, energetic alignment. Healing happens in the seeing. You don't have to fix everything overnight. You don't have to banish every limiting belief. You only have to become aware. Because once you see a pattern clearly, without judgment, it starts to loosen. It loses its grip. It sheds its disguise. It becomes a memory, not a master. The inner child who never felt heard. The teenager who was told to shrink. The adult who plays small to stay safe. They don't need to be pushed aside. They need to be seen. And awareness is the light that does the seeing. Affirmation versus attunement. You can affirm all day long, but if you're not attuned to your emotional reality, you're just layering words over wounds. Attunement is the ability to sit with yourself, to notice, to breathe, to witness. It's spiritual maturity. It says, I don't need to trick myself into belief. I trust the unfolding. I'll speak what I desire, but I'll listen to what I feel. I'll let my body guide me home. This is the path of real alignment. It's not always glamorous, but it's honest. And honesty is what clears static from your frequency. The new practice, awareness. First, affirmation second. Here's what you do now. Before speaking your affirmation, pause, close your eyes, check in, ask, what am I feeling in this moment? What resistance is alive in me right now? Where in my body do I feel tension, doubt, or grief? Then ask gently, can I allow it to be here? Can I sit with it without needing to fix it? Only then, only after you've acknowledged the truth, do you speak your affirmation. And now it's no longer just words, it's a resonance. Because you didn't skip the real work. You moved through it. You don't need to be high vibe, you need to be real. This isn't about staying positive 24/7. This isn't about masking fear with glittery phrases. This is about becoming the clearest channel possible so that your frequency speaks louder than your fear. The universe isn't looking for a perfect signal. It's looking for an honest one. And the moment your signal becomes honest, everything begins to recalibrate. You begin to attract not just what you want, but what you're finally aligned with. Not because you tricked yourself, but because you returned to yourself. Final thought. Awareness is a sacred technology. Awareness isn't soft, it's powerful. It's not passive, it's catalytic. It's what turns information into transformation, words into embodiment, affirmations into frequency. So the next time you sit down to declare a new reality, remember this. Affirmation without awareness is noise. Affirmation with awareness is creation. You're not here to repeat mantras like a robot. You're here to become the living, breathing vibration of truth. And that vibration begins not with what you say, but with what you're willing to see. Part 5. Identity versus frequency. You can't manifest a new life from the energy of your old identity. Take a breath. Now ask yourself the question very few people ever do when starting the journey of transformation. Am I trying to manifest from my future self, or am I still broadcasting the energy of who I used to be? Because here's the truth. You can't bring in a new reality while gripping the identity of your past. Not because you're broken, but because your frequency is still wrapped in the energetic signature of an older version of you. And frequency is everything. It doesn't matter what you say, post, or even consciously desire. If your energetic signature is still rooted in the survival patterns, emotional wounds, and limiting beliefs of your old identity, then your broadcast to the universe is scrambled. It says, I want something new, but also I'm not ready for it. And when the universe hears contradiction, it responds with nothing, silence, stillness, stagnation. Not because it's punishing you, but because it's waiting for you to tune the signal. Your identity is more than a name. Let's expand the definition. Identity isn't just who you say you are. It's who your nervous system believes you are. It's who your subconscious expects you to be. It's the silent narrator of your life, guiding your decisions, shaping your relationships, defining your limits. You might consciously say, I am successful. But if your identity still clings to being the underdog, the overlooked one, the one who had to struggle for scraps, then no matter how loud your affirmations are, your energetic imprint says something else entirely. That imprint, your emotional residue, your belief structure, your behavioral loops, is what determines your frequency. Patterns are proof of identity. Look at your life, the repeated cycles, the familiar frustrations, the way your biggest fears keep playing out in different costumes. That's not coincidence. That's identity. If you keep attracting emotionally unavailable partners, or find yourself undervalued at work again and again, or always seem to run into money at the edge of stress and survival, these aren't external problems. They're internal echoes. They are patterns. And patterns always originate from identity, not the one you want to be, but the one you've unconsciously been trained to be. How identity is formed, the emotional blueprint. Identity is not innate, it's installed. From childhood, from trauma, from repeated emotional experiences. A child who is silenced learns that their voice isn't welcome. That becomes the identity. I stay quiet to be safe. A teen who was rejected learns that love is dangerous. That becomes the identity. I protect myself by staying distant. An adult who faced loss and failure may decide, I can't trust joy, it never lasts. And that belief settles into the body like a hidden tattoo. So even when they want success, love, or peace, their frequency is tainted with hesitation, fear, and subconscious avoidance. And that old identity keeps broadcasting. Don't get too comfortable. Stay small. Play it safe. The body is the memory bank. Your identity isn't just mental, it's physical. Your body is your living archive. Every feeling you've ever repressed, every moment you froze, every time you swallowed emotion to survive, it's stored somewhere inside you, in your shoulders, in your jaw, in your breath. That tension isn't just physical, it's symbolic. It's a message. I'm still holding on to who I had to become to survive. And until that version is seen, acknowledged, and released, it will continue to guide your choices. You can't out-affirm your identity. Here's the hard truth. You can't build a castle of dreams on the foundation of unhealed wounds. You can try. You can decorate it with vision boards and mantras. But the structure will always shake, and the universe will sense the dissonance. Because the law of attraction isn't responding to your aspirations. It's responding to your alignment. And alignment only happens when your inner identity matches your outer intentions. When you are the version of yourself that already lives in what you desire, not because you forced it, but because you've become it energetically. Identity is familiar. Frequency is evolving. Here's the paradox. Your old identity feels safe because it's known. It's comfortable, predictable. It knows where the exits are. Even if it hurts, it's familiar pain. And that's what the nervous system craves, familiarity. So when you try to shift into a new vibration, abundance, love, visibility, your system flinches. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because the old identity sees change as a threat. And its job is to protect you, even from your dreams. Who are you without the wound? This is the question that begins the rebirth. Who are you if you're no longer the fixer, the people pleaser, The one who stays silent to avoid rejection? The one who hustles to prove they're worthy? What remains when the protective layers fall away? This is where fear comes up, because the ego doesn't want to die, but neither does the soul want to keep shrinking. So you stand at a threshold, one foot in the past, one foot in possibility. And the choice is this. Do you stay safe in your old identity? Or do you step into the frequency of your true self? Becoming versus returning. Here's something sacred to remember. You're not becoming something new. You're returning to who you were before the world told you otherwise. Before the shame, before the fear, before the patterns. Your true identity isn't built on scarcity. It's built on resonance. It already exists. The work isn't to construct it from scratch. It's to remove what's not you, to unlearn the lie, to release the survival role, to soften into what has always been waiting beneath the noise. How to shift identity at the frequency level. Let's be practical. Shifting identity isn't about repeating, "I am abundant," until you believe it. It's about living in a new energetic truth. Here's how the shift happens. Identify the pattern. What cycle keeps repeating? Where do you feel stuck? Trace the origin. What belief or emotional event shaped this identity? When did you start thinking this was who you had to be? Feel it, don't fix it. The body stores emotions that the mind forgets. Let the grief, fear, or anger surface. Sit with it, witness it, name the role. I've been playing the role of the one who proves their worth. I've been the one who stays small to be safe. Say goodbye. Write a letter. Do a ritual. Speak it out loud. Thank you for protecting me, but I don't need you anymore. Call in the aligned self. Who are you now? Speak from that frequency. I am the one who allows. I am the one who chooses ease. I am the one who trusts. Embody through action. Walk differently. Speak more clearly. Set boundaries. Spend money like someone who trusts more is coming. Say no like someone who believes they are worthy. This is how frequency becomes form. This is why you're here. You're not here to repeat patterns. You're here to complete them. To look your old identity in the eye and say, "Thank you. You helped me survive. But I'm not surviving anymore. I'm here to live." You're here to emit the signal of your true self and let the universe respond accordingly. Because that's when manifestation becomes effortless. That's when alignment stops being a concept and becomes your new baseline. Not because you tricked your mind, but because you trained your frequency. Final word. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you are. So ask yourself, not as a concept, but as a compass. Who am I when no one's looking? What version of me is still running the show? And am I willing to release that version so my future can finally find me? Because the universe isn't waiting for you to want more. It's waiting for you to become more. Not performatively, not perfectly, but truthfully. And that truth is your highest frequency.